Greetings, everybody. This is Sabin Dimitrov, aka Dinsvo the Astrowolf, and it is a pleasure to have you guys here for my next video. So, you guys know how I have been writing stories about Plummook and just how amazing of a creature that she truly is. Well, check it out. I was able to find somebody to put her into art, and yeah, she is stunning. She has a large, broad, thick muzzle that ends with a soft, fluffy nose. Um, and then she has two saber fangs in the front, and she can actually retract those if she needs to. The saber fangs are multifunctional, and they can inject multitudes of different liquids, including poison, toxins, healing ointments, or other kinds of things. You name it, she can do it. And as you guys can see, she is a very large and muscular creature. She stands at around 11-ish feet tall, maybe a little bit more, and she has a very broad and thick built form. She is a bit heavier than females her size, because of the muscular bulk. You see, males and females vary differently in their astralic peoplehood. So males are the ones that usually have longer tails and more color on them, and that allows them to be able to do mating dances and rituals to help find a proper mate. Males usually also have more colors along their ears, their muzzles, along their body, and also featherings along their body. Males are often bigger as well, and they show a more dominant posture. Females can also be dominant, but they have a more passive dominance, so they kind of stand like a watchful mother who knows that they can snap you in half, but they don't. If that makes sense. Males are often males are also known for having larger fangs and larger saber fangs. But Drugaryu, even though she's a full-fledged female, everything about her is female, she has a larger muscular bulk, and the reason why is because she is a kind of a product of the ancient astrals, the seven astrals that were made, that kind of came at the beginning of time, and she was said to be in dormancy until the great creator awakened her, and astrals give live birth. Remember, this is timeline 3, by the way. Astrals give live birth, but for her, she was actually made inside of an egg, a very large egg that kept her in a state of stasis for who knows how long. It was estimated to be around after the Great Flood, uh, and it was said that these astrals, um, the ones that kind of started the Astralic peoplehood, looked not looked, but they knew that they needed to do this. Now, whether it was ordained by the great creator to them, or they were just like, "Hey, we're going to go ahead and do this because we need to make sure that our people do not fall to the ways of the world." You know, that's how it happened. Um, Females usually have less colors on them, and they are often seen as more plain looking. They're still beautiful, don't get me wrong, but they are more plain. And the reason why is because the males are the ones that need to be more colorful and more, in a sense, beautiful and fluffy and all that, so they can attract a proper female. And then once the female has become mated to the male, then their color and other things form with them. So if you see a female who's fluffy and colorful, that is usually because they are now mated for life. Um, females often have more paler eyes, while the males have more colorful eyes, depending on their attributes and traits. Now they all look very kind of similar to this, but you will notice differences and changes and attributes to them that kind of makes them, what they are. So Drugaryu has larger claws, both on her paws and her hands, um, and on her feet. And usually females have a bit more paler claws, but for Drugaryu, she has very thick claws that reach that start out like as obsidian black and taper to a lighter violet, um, toward the tips. And if they are ever red, that means she has taken a prey or uh, warned somebody not to cross her. Uh, let's see. Drugaryu has four body layers that go from the skin to the scales to the fur to the feathers. So I will try to find my post and tell you guys what her attributes are. Give me a second. Drugaryu, because of her supernatural abilities and her special astralic makeup, she can actually sprout living feathers and wings on her body to help make her even more colorful and beautiful. Now, they aren't like wings, but they are able to sprout from her body kind of kind of like almost in a peacock fashion. So when she, is trying to show dominance, or when she is trying um, to kind of just show herself off a bit. She is pretty much the definition of astralic beauty. She would be very much like the kind version of Plamuk. Both Plamuk and Drugaryu are known for being the pinnacle of the great creator's creation when it comes to beauty and grace. So she can actually use different shimmering scales underneath her fur to give her colorful glows, and she can spout either winglets or feathers on whatever she wishes on different parts of her body too, so that she can show the colors of the universe on her. It truly is amazing what Drugaryu can do. Remember, in astralic culture, it's usually the males that are the colorful ones, because they are supposed to attract the females. The females are more expected to be less colorful than the males, just due to astralic culture and lifestyle. But like I said, once they become married, then the females adorn more colors on them and become more beautiful. But since Drugaryu, one of the reasons why is so that way the females do not grow vain and they are kept humble. Same thing with the males. The males are expected to sport the colors, but if they become haughty and proud, then they are stripped of those colors, and a special chemical is put inside their body that turns all the colors pale and muted. But since Drugaryu is kind of the prophesied one who would bring unity and abundance to her people, she is capable of breaking or bending some of these rules in order to move her people forward and to better them. She is the only one who is allowed to change the fundamentals of astralic society, hence by the original astrals that made the astralic society. She personally also believes that it is better for the male to be able to attract the right female than the other way around, because that way when the female is attracted to the male, it is out of admiration and for the heart of the male and compatibility. It is natural that females are able to sense compatibility better than males, so this is why the males are better for attracting females, and then the female picks the right one. It's very rare that a male lives his life completely alone. There will eventually be a female that fits him. So, for Sabin, in Timeline 3, the little human, since Drugaryu fell in love with him first, she sometimes has the astralic doctors cover Sabin's body with his symbiotic fur and featherings to make him colorful and stand out as much as possible. it's like a body cloak. Like it's how you say it. It's hard to put it into it's like a bodysuit almost. It's interesting. It's kind of like a symbiotic kind of living fur that they place on his body, and it allows him to kind of blend in a little bit more with the people. The doctors are teaching Sabin astralic dances so he can perform them for Drugaryu when he wishes to charm her. So, sometimes when Drugaryu is out for lunch or doing her rounds, Sabin will sport the colors he has been given by the ancient astralic advisors to do a dance and to charm her. The more heart and soul and love for Drugaryu he puts into his dancing and movements, the more Drugaryu will feel the full impact of his love for her, making her love for him even stronger and more supernaturally powerful. Yep. Her scaled, furred skin is complemented by soft featherings across her body. The uniqueness of her three attributes is truly phenomenal. Her skin is actually an inner layer of crystalline, interlaced, fibrous, soft epidermal fibers that is incredibly durable and resistant to hostile environments. The outer layer of her skin is a soft, malleable, and flexible covering of interlocking hexagonal scales that provide an advanced and extremely effective chainmail plate armor like effect that provides ample protection from abrasions and cuts and other various things that could be harmful to her. Despite the outer layer being scales, they are very soft and very pleasing to the touch and have a soft baby skin texture to them. The scale the scales each have their own covering of microscopic fur fibers that provide the scales with the waterproof attributes, as well as a heavenly soft texture that is beyond anything that you can comprehend. In fact, her skin would actually be seen as soft like the fur of a puppy. So, yeah, like even though if you look very closely, you can see the scales. They are actually fur scales, allowing for them to be soft and fluffy, but also kind of scale-like fashion. Uh, the inner layer of her skin, be underneath the kind of the fur scales, is this like thick, fibrous, uh, kind of like crystalline material, which is very malleable and extremely tough. Like, if she actually has to have a surgery done or something done to fix something, they actually have to use a a plasma cutter to cut open that area. Now, Drugaryu has found ways to do these things herself, but she has had to find ways to make tools and things for her doctors in case she becomes incapacitated. The third layer is a very thick forest of fur that conforms to her body's form. This allows her muscular frame and thick bone nature to be shown without being too revealing. You can see the muscular structure without the muscles being too pronounced. It provides her exceptional flexibility and range of movement while still providing her warmth when needed. These beautiful fur fibers have an iridescent glow to them uh, of baby blues and very light violets. Technically, her fur would be known as trichromatic or trichromatic, meaning the fur itself is white. And usually she shows with the whitest of fur, and she even glows when the sun shines on her. But because of it being trichromatic, depending on the various angles that you can view her from, it will either have a kind of kind of a bluish hue to her, or a very violet kind of hue to her. So, as you guys can see in this picture, you can kind of see along the edges of her body that kind of like bluish and purpley hues to her body, kind of giving her depth and feel to her body. And that allows her to have that kind of like uh, 3D feel that kind of makes her really pop out. And as you can see, the very thick fur along her chest and body kind of shows just, her kind of tribal semi-pharaoh-esque vibe to her. She has a very beautiful head marking that that kind of shows that kind of leads to her soft and adorable nose, uh, kind of that like beautiful color, and that purple is known for being a color of purity and royalty in her people. So not very many people, have that color on them because of that. And her eyes are actually kind of when you look into them, they are like you're looking into a beautiful opal gemstone. Like just beautiful, colorful eyes that really show just how truly amazing and beautiful she is. And her entire eye can actually see, not just a pupil. So she can see you from the farthest corner of her eye to the central part of her eye. So her eyes are just this beautiful and amazing look, purple that shows her color. And yeah, it's amazing. And as you can see, the thick fur that covers her breasts and muscles and her legs and every other part of her, it's a very thick fur, but it lays itself down to give her body form and definition. And then underneath all this thick fur would be her kind of like inner scales that give her flexibility and protection. And then as you guys can see, the featherings on her body show just how dominant and prominent of a creature she is. They start out as white at the bases and move in to have a beautiful bluey, purpley vibe to them to be a little bit darker at the ends. And that allows them to kind of pop out and kind of show their beauty, making her, what she is. And then the colors of the Astral 7 adorn her tail. And she can, fluff up her tail plume. And those will end with the colors of the Astral 7 showing on her body. And the colors of the Astral 7 add to her beauty and mystical vibe. She is a very powerful creature, and like I said, she has a very thick and broad muzzle, and kind of a longer muzzle as well, um, with very thick and deeply rooted teeth, and yeah, she can bite through trees like they're nothing. Like she can just go, she could eat a tree if she wanted to. She's really powerful. And then along her ears, you will see the colors of the Astral 7, equidistant from the center. So these are the 7 colors, and her ears start out black, and then they have they kind of transition to a very light purple, with featherings along the edges of her ears as well. And then that central white circle with a black dot in the center of it is supposed to be called the astral eye. So when she's trying to show dominance over you or over someone else, if she doesn't like your tone, her ears will turn towards you, showing the astral eye, and then that means her regular eyes, but then the astral eyes will also be staring at you, and the that allows her to use a supernatural intimidation ability to kind of cause people to become very submissive and more willing to listen to her and agree with her. Drugaryu is known for being very dominant and scary, but she is a very beautiful creature and she's incredibly intelligent. She can think over 10,000 moves ahead of her opponents, and because of her powerful mind, uh, everything is simple to her. It's just like she has a superior understanding of everything around her because of the like thousands of generations of astrologs being uploaded into her. So she has wisdom that is millennia's long and deep. And yeah, so she's an incredibly smart and beautiful creature who has wisdom and discernment that surpasses what any of us could ever even begin to comprehend. So everything to her is just simple, and she's like, you do this because that's how it works. And then for people like us, we would be like, but why? And then for her, she has to often humble herself because she realizes that she's been given, you know, a gift of discernment and wisdom and insight and knowledge. She has a very powerful mind, so she has to remember that she needs to, dumb things down when she's explaining things because even her people have trouble keeping up with her. She doesn't do that to be demeaning or condescending. It's just how she is. And, she's working on it. Nobody really knows exactly when she was, quote, born. But technically, she's been around since the days after the Great Flood. The third layer allows her to have a beautiful fur that shows of unrivaled softness. Again, like, newborn puppy fur, like extremely soft, beautiful fur. The fur fibers can only be cut by a hyperintensity kind of star gem laser. If she ever needs trimming, she has a very special handheld device that has a rechargeable power core that lasts about 3 minutes, that outputs enough energy so that way the laser can make trimmings along her fur in case she needs to touch herself up. Her fur is truly phenomenal, and is of the most pure construction. Last but not least is the very last layer of her fur. She has beautiful featherings interlaced, spread throughout her fur of beautiful feathers, like a peacock. She can cause these hidden feathers to flare out from her fur, and even from underneath, depending on what her purpose is. These amazing featherings will change color and behavior according to her desires. Unlike other astralic females who do not possess such beauty, she can do a mating dance and cause her feathers to be hypnotic and absolutely stunning. She can run into battle, and her featherings will send out psychological and supernatural attacks against her enemies, causing them to be consumed by terror and fear. One of the things that, let's see, she has, semi-psychic and telekinetic abilities, so she can interact with things around her using as kind of a supernatural ability. Now, she's not psychic like wizardry or witchcraft or horrible things like that. She has supernatural ability and powers that allow us to kind of, interact with things around her. So let's say that she finds a human computer and wishes to interact with it. She can either do that physically, or she can focus her abilities on that computer, and the computer will start acting in the way that she needs it to do. So she doesn't have like freaking, uh, you know, like the Force from like Star Wars or uh other weird abilities from like Avatar, but she does have abilities in the sense that she can interact with things around her in an insensitive way. But also, she can show her royalty and leadership with her featherings, and they are truly phenomenal. These feathers possess supernatural attributes on their own, which react in real time to her mental status and what she has in plan. This is one of the reasons why she is truly a phenomenal creature. So when she gives the little human snuggles and love, all 4 layers of her body will attune to the human's body and flow into him all the love that she has. The featherings will gently wrap around his body to provide him comfort and protection. The fur fibers will proceed to do the same, as well as funnel in cool air to help keep them both happy and comfortable. The scales will provide a very comfortable yet malleable base for the human to lay on, so that way he can be in the utmost comfort. Her entire body works in unison with her mind and with what she wishes to accomplish. Truly a phenomenal and amazing creature. Drugaryu kinda, how you say it? She has that kind of like creepy kind of vibe a little bit when she looks at you. But it may not, that usually is not her intention. She's just curious, so her gaze can often be seen as very intense. And yeah, it's just she's just a beautiful and amazing creature. But yeah, she kind of, how do I say it? She kind of walks a little bit more similar to what a werewolf would, kind of in between a werewolfish and kind of a bipedal form. So she's still bipedal, but she doesn't walk upright like a human would. She has more of a kind of a curious walk, I guess. Give me a second. She kind of stands similar to this. And she's extremely flexible. Like she could twist herself into a knot if she wanted to, which would be kind of awkward. But yeah, she kind of has this kind of vibe to her. And as you can see, this werewolf has very thick, has a thick muscular structure, very large paws. Yeah, and it's has kind of like a tribal view vibe to them. I used this one kind of to as a this is Emery's, I believe, made by Jamie Sidor, 2003. And yeah, I used this fella as a kind of like a baseline for kind of how Drugaryu should be. You see how they have very thick hands and very thick paws, and you can just tell that this one could snap you in half if they wanted to. That's kind of how Drugaryu kind of is. She's just muscle, fluff, and more muscle. And yeah, I just wanted to to kind of show you guys kind of my thoughts behind it. But yeah, so Drugaryu has just everything about her is just thick and muscular, but it makes her just have this charming beauty to her and a sense of power. So it's kind of like a mystical beauty to her. And in fact, this creature here was one of the things that kind of got me into making Drugaryu the way she was. I loved the long tail that Drugaryu had, that this creature had, and I wanted to form a creature somewhat around what this one looked like. This one has a thick muzzle, and you can see the scales mixed in with her. I think this one's kind of like a lizard kitty or whatever they are. But as you guys can see, this one was kind of the one that kind of helped me start Drugaryu. And yeah, so Drugaryu would actually have it kind of would have the scales underneath her fur, and then a thick skin underneath those scales. So yeah, that's kind of one of the things that kind of wanted me to make her epidermal layers be multi-characteristic. And then Drugaryu has very big, thick ears that kind of, show more of a sense of power and authority. And I really liked the way that they did the tail and the scalings, underneath all that. So yeah, this was the original Drugaryu that I kind of made something around, and then I got more characteristics as time went on. I'm going to put a 18 plus rating at the start of this video, just because I'm telling you guys the process of how Drugaryu got created. I like the way that Rugatio does the artwork. You see how the fur is very soft and fluffy, and you kind of see how everything is brought together by this. I really like the way that Rugatio does the fur on her characters that she draws. So I wanted to kind of do something along the lines of that. And as you can see, this one does not have, nipples on the end of their breasts. I don't like nipples. They are a huge turnoff for me. So that's one of the reasons why Drugaryu is such an amazing creature, because she actually does not have those. In fact, she actually does still have like little tufts kind of on the ends of her breasts, but instead, if she ever does breastfeed, if she ever does have a child, the insides of her breasts will open up like a small cavity at the tip at the front. I said tip, not the other word. Don't worry. It will open up, kind of like a sea anemone, and then these little kind of like sensory tentacles will flare out, and then a central tentacle will have fluid, will have a kind of like a internal hose attached to the to her mammary glands, and then she can feed her child that way. And the sensory tentacles around that will be able to guide the feeding tentacle to feed the child. And then once the feeding is complete, everything will retract back into the breasts, and then they will be soft and fluffy again with no nipple. Like I said, I don't like nipples. They are a huge turnoff and are gross to me. I like the way that Dark Natasha did this one. This is kind of the idea that I had a little bit behind Drugaryu, kind of having this like beautiful regal look. This is I like the way that this wolf is done, and you can kind of see just how cool they look. Werewolves are just amazing to me, and yeah, I really like anthropomorphic creatures. They are really cool. And no, I'm not what you guys may be thinking I am. I'm not that. I just like, making anthropomorphic creatures. There's people who love werewolves, there's people who love forest fays, it's all sorts of different things. And you don't have to be put inside of a category. But yeah, so Drugaryu kind of has this like regal, broad form to her. So when she looks at you, you can really sense, wisdom and, leadership behind her. And then I used kind of this picture to kind of tell the artist how I wanted her kind of hands to be. Just these muscular, thick digits around her, and leading to some very thick boned arms. I like it that she is thicker boned because it really just shows actual force and substance behind her. So yeah, I really do like how that is done, and you can kind of see that these hands don't mess around. They can be extremely gentle, but yeah, they don't mess around. So as you guys can see for this one, Toriel with that long tail kind of got me interested in having Drugaryu with that long tail. I like creatures with like long tails and big plumes at the end because I always find them to be soft and fluffy. Drugaryu's tail is also semi-sentient, so the tail itself can actually act independent, kind of being an extension of her, and it can help gather information. And one of the ways that Drugaryu's tail works is that it sways around using its featherings, its little tentacles hidden inside of the tail plume, and just its natural ability to sense things around it. Kind of like a probe, a supernatural radar. And yeah, so I really love the way that they did Toriel's tail in this picture. So I wanted Drugaryu to kind of have a tail of this as well. So yeah, as you guys can see, Drugaryu has a pretty freaking long tail. And yeah, so I really like kind of just how well this is done. It's really cool, and yeah, Drugaryu was done very well by this artist, and I will be doing a quick little view of their Facebook profile, as well as providing a link to them as well, so that way if you guys want some artwork done by them, you can. They give me a discount, and in return, I told them that I would give them a shout out on my YouTube channel. So at the end of this video, I will be giving the artist a shout out and letting them know that I appreciate their hard work. They did a really good job with her. I've showed people at my workplace, I've showed people online, and they all love it. And I'm extremely happy with how well she came out. And there's another artist called Daymoon. He does really good artwork as well, and I'm going to see if maybe he can do a rendition of Drugaryu and see how well that one pops out. But yeah, this is a fantastic first rendition of Drugaryu, and I am really happy with how the artist did. They did a great job, and despite, a slight language barrier, this came out amazingly well, and I am extremely happy with this. I really love the way that Plamuk's facial and skeletal structure is on that I got done, and I wanted to put in some attributes of Plamuk onto Drugaryu. So Plamuk is, like I said, remember on Timeline 4, that's my book I'm writing, thrown into the Maw of Trials. Um, she has this beautiful blue fire and blue markings on her. And she's a very beautiful and powerful creature that just shows just an amazing ability to just really just pop up. And yeah, I like the way that her adorable nose is, and I wanted to kind of copy that same structure over to Drugaryu, and that is one of the reasons why I wanted to have that set up. And as you guys can see, that came out really well, and that that we kind of went to show a look of how Drugaryu is. These very thick teeth, this very thick teeth. And the idea for Plamuk kind of came around from so I was writing a book kind of around the same time I found Lemon Deer. And Lemon Deer is also a great artist that does really fun comic strips and things like that. And I like the way this is Lemon Deer's character called Saren Fire, and I really love the way that that her facial structure is as well. And that's kind of one of the things that kind of got me into trying to find the final form for Drugaryu, kind of having a few characteristics, not doing blatant, copying, but kind of fun little ideas and thoughts around it. And like I said, I've always loved soft, fluffy noses, and I was looking around for quite a while for the perfect example of a soft and fluffy nose. So, Drugaryu did the perfect job. No, Lemon Deer did the perfect job for making a soft and fluffy nose, and that's one of the attributes I wanted to add to that. I find normal wet noses to be kind of meh. So I really love the way that this one is set up because it kind of gives Drugaryu an even more alien-esque vibe to her. And like I said, that's actually one of the ideas behind Plamuk as well. Kind of a beautiful creature that has similar aspects to Mort and Saren Fire and other kind of characters, kind of a fun amalgamation of my own twist on things. But yeah, I wanted to give a Lemon Deer some credit as well because her amazing artwork kind of helped me get my character get a couple of my characters actually what's that term encouraged, I think. So yeah, this is one of the things that I really like about that. So having a soft, fluffy nose is kind of, you know, it's a very it's a very attractive quality to me. So yeah, so great job, Lemon Deer, and great job all the other artists that I included in this video because yeah, you all of you guys collectively helped me make the characters that I have. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. So yeah, feel free to look up Lemon Deer on DeviantArt or um, I guess if there's another one that she has is called Fur Affinity because that's another where place that she can post her art. Um, but yeah, so yeah, Lemon Deer does a great job, and she's running a fun little campaign trying to get people to support her 3D artwork that she's trying to do now. So yeah, feel free to take a look at that because Lemon Deer is kind of the major reason why Plamuk is around, and then so another reason why Plamuk kind of has that facial structure because I wanted kind of something similar-ish to this because I really love like all the power that's built into this frame. And Saren Fire is a very beautiful female, and I wanted kind of Drugaryu to kind of have that, beautiful vibe to her. And so Saren Fire is a very attractive female character, and I really love the way that she's done. So yeah. But yeah, so I think that this is my is going to be the conclusion to the video. But yeah, oh wait, I need to go ahead and show you guys the artist, or at least a little bit to their stuff. Um, give me a second, guys. This person goes by the name Richard John on the on Facebook. And at first, I was a little bit worried that I had, been sent the wrong way, but they turned out to be a great asset, and I'm very happy that they gave me that discount. Like I said, I in return for them giving me that discount to get Drugaryu done, I wanted to give them a shout out. So this is your shout out, Richard John. You did a great job. And yeah, and then I mentioned them on one of my profiles, and saying check out the good artwork, and they did the artwork of Drugaryu. And as you guys can see, Drugaryu has shown up beautifully, just stunningly. And yeah, I love the way that she is done, and Richard John did well. And they said, just finished up a furry art commission for a fantastic client. Now, just as a reminder, guys, I'm not a furry. I just like anthropomorphic characters like werewolves and things like that. So, yeah. I am not part of any community or anything of the sort, but I do like having characters and things drawn, and yeah, this guy, turned out to be the perfect start for Drugaryu. This is the first ever artwork of Drugaryu being done, and I am extremely happy with how well that's been done. Here's a sneak peek of their review. Sabin Radov Dimitrov absolutely exceeded my expectations. Their attention to detail and creativity brought my character to life. I couldn't be happier with the result. Thank you for trusting me with your vision. So, yeah, they thanked me for trusting them with that. And, yeah, I'm very, very happy that, that they did that. But yeah, I give him a gentle manner saying, hey, she's not a furry. She's an anthropomorphic creature. But yeah, I appreciate Richard John, doing that. And then, there's other artwork that he's done. He has a kind of a cute little puppy reindeer creature. More artwork that they've done. So yeah, feel free to reach out to them. Give me a second. But yeah, so I will be posting their profile in the description of the video, and that will conclude my shout out to them. So thanks again, Richard John, for turning out to be truthful, and a honest and hardworking individual, and yeah, because of their hard work, we got this amazing rendition of Drugaryu, and I'm excited to see how other artists put her into form as well. But yeah, so great job, Richard. You brought a lot more life to my channel and my other things, and it makes me very, very happy that we got that taken care of. So yeah, thank you very, very much. And yeah, this is just Drugaryu in all her glory. A truly phenomenal and beautiful creature. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for being here for this awesome video. It makes me so happy that Drugaryu is finally done. And yeah, I'm gonna start trying to work on my book again. I kind of fizzled out for a little while just because of vision issues and surgeries and things like that. But I'm hoping by maybe 2026 or even 2027, I'm hoping to have my book done. It might be even sooner, just depending on the circumstances of everything. But yeah, so this is an awesome artwork of Drugaryu. Great job, Richard John, again. And yeah, it makes me super, super happy finally having her completed. And yeah, people in my workplace have said that they love the way that the featherings are done. They love the way that the colors pop out on her tail. They love how everything shows up. So the colors of the Astral 7 truly have added a lot of depth to this, and I'm very happy I decided to carry over a lot of those to my other characters as well. But anyway, guys, this has been Sabin Dimitrov, aka Dinsvo the Astral Wolf, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys here again for this video, and it makes me very happy again to have Drugaryu and just her being an absolutely stunning and beautiful creature. So yeah, you guys stay awesome, and always remember, God bless.